Let's be honest, the way fintechs have been chasing growth, it's broken. For way too long, the game has been all about one thing: get more customers and get them fast. But what if that obsession, that single-minded focus, is actually leading companies right off a cliff? Today, we're going to talk about a smarter, more sustainable, and way more profitable path forward.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. It's a massive warning sign. If your entire strategy is just signing up new users, you're building a business on sand. So let's unpack what that really means.
So, what exactly is this acquisition trap? Well, it's this vicious cycle of spending a ton of money for smaller and smaller returns. And believe me, when you see the numbers, they are absolutely staggering. First up, let's talk about cost. And we're not talking chump change here. To get just one new customer in the door, a fintech company could be spending anywhere from $200 to an eye-watering $1,500. Why so much? Because the market is completely flooded and everybody's screaming for the same customer's attention.
Okay, so you spend all that cash to finally land a customer. You'd think they'd stick around for a while, right? Nope. In the world of digital banking, you're losing over a quarter of your customers every single year. It's like you're frantically pouring water into a bucket that's got a massive hole in the bottom. And here's the real kicker. Even for the customers who do stay, you could be waiting up to 3 years just to make back the money you spent to get them in the first place. I mean, can you imagine running a business where you have to wait 3 whole years to know if a huge investment was even worth it? It's a recipe for some very sleepless nights. You know, this isn't some accident or a small oversight. It's literally baked into the business model. Look at this. A whopping 75% of a typical fintech's growth budget is just thrown at getting new customers. This isn't just a simple marketing mistake. It's a deep, fundamental flaw in how these companies are even built. Okay, so if the old model is a trap, how the heck do you get out? Well, the answer is to completely flip the script. You have to shift your focus from chasing new people to getting the absolute most value out of the customers you already have. And that's where the LTV framework comes in. It's a 5-step plan to build a business that actually lasts. So here it is, your roadmap to a much healthier business. It all starts with a solid foundation of data. Then you move into smart, proactive ways to keep your customers and help them grow with you. After that, it's about getting your entire company on the same page, and finally, making sure you're measuring the things that actually drive the business forward. So let's break them down one by one.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with your data. You can't possibly improve your customer relationships if you don't really understand your customers. But here's the problem. Most companies have their data scattered all over the place. Your support team has one piece of the puzzle, the product team has another, transaction logs have a third. Step 1 is all about bringing all those pieces together into one single, crystal clear picture of every single customer. Now, once you have that complete picture, you can stop just reacting to problems and start being proactive. Instead of waiting for a customer to hit cancel, what if you could use AI to see who's likely to leave, sometimes up to 90 days in advance? That gives you this golden window of opportunity to step in, maybe with a personalized offer or just some extra help, and turn someone who is about to leave into one of your most loyal customers. Okay, this is where things get really exciting. The smartest fintechs out there aren't just selling one thing. They're building an entire financial world for their customers. By intelligently recommending other services, like, say, turning a payments customer into a lending customer, you can literally double their lifetime value without spending one single extra penny on ads. That is a total game changer. Look, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if your team isn't motivated to actually use it, it's completely worthless. If your sales team only gets bonuses for signing up new people, guess what they're going to care about? You have to totally rewire how your entire organization is incentivized. You need to make keeping customers happy and growing their value just as important and just as rewarding as closing that next big deal. And finally, you have to change the way you keep score. Forget about those flashy vanity metrics like app downloads that look good in a press release but tell you absolutely nothing about the real health of your business. The numbers that actually matter are the ones that predict long-term success. Things like your LTV to CAC ratio, your net revenue retention, and customer health scores. These are the numbers that smart investors are looking at, and they're the ones you should be obsessed with too. Okay, we've laid out the whole framework, but let's get down to brass tacks. Why should a busy CEO or a CFO really care about all this? Why should they rip up their old playbook for this new model? Well, because the results, they're just undeniable. I mean, just look at this. It's not even a fair fight. The data couldn't be clearer. It costs 5 to 7 times less to keep and grow a customer you already have than it does to go out and hunt for a new one. That's not a small savings. That is a massive efficiency gain that can completely transform your bottom line. And those savings, they create this amazing ripple effect across your entire business. All of a sudden, your unit economics start looking a whole lot healthier. You find a much faster path to being profitable. You actually start to stand out in a super crowded market as a company that's built to last. And you become a magnet for investors who are looking for smart, sustainable growth, not just hype. Let's just put it in black and white here. The old way, the CAC-led model, it's like a bonfire. You're just burning through cash like crazy, with absolutely no guarantee of a real return. The LTV-led model, on the other hand, it's more like planting a tree. Sure, it takes a little more care and thought up front, but it grows strong roots and it ends up producing fruit for years and years to come. So the why is pretty clear, right? But the big question is always how. How do you actually make this shift happen? In our final section, let's tackle some of the most common questions leaders have when they're finally ready to escape the acquisition trap for good. One of the very first things any leader is going to ask is, okay, what's the goal here? What does good actually look like in this new world? Here it is. This is your North Star, 3 to 1. It's kind of the golden ratio for a healthy, scalable business that investors love. For every single dollar you spend to get a customer, you should be getting at least $3 back over their lifetime. If you can hit that number, you're not just on the right track, you're building a fortress. I want to leave you with this final idea because I think it's so important. Shifting to this LTV-led model isn't about hitting the brakes on growth. Not at all. It's about being smarter, being more efficient, and building a company that can survive any economic storm. In today's market, the real question isn't whether you can afford to make this shift, it's whether you can possibly afford